Man. You hear me okay? I haven't even been talking. Alright, that's good. I'm doing different music, but it's not, I'm not used to it. Oh, it is? Jesus Christ. I'm Minecraft music is great, I'm sure. Hagstrom. Shit, it probably is. This is off a Spotify playlist. This is fucked because it's gonna. Well, I was like, oh, I'm getting all into this. This must be new Zelda music, and it's not. It's part of the Spotify. Hey, AI will help sprinkle good music in between the music playlist that you're. See, now this is gonna be actual Zelda music. That's Minecraft. You've educated me. Hmm. Minecraft is among the many video game trailers I've so what are the legend link to the past pics being used for? These are so what I'm doing right now is I'm actually populating some of the backgrounds of these images with backgrounds. So what does that look like? And to be honest, I'm mixing so many different aesthetics. Yeah, so yeah, and I'm just like, well, what the fuck should go on? And I'm like, because I'm applying no more reason or logic to this project than I would to like my work, which is plentiful. But to be honest, I'm generally starved of actual direction, so I have to create it myself. And then, in doing so, it's like, well, if I, I have a I'm like, well, you could have some of these cool statues existing on the up here, over in these areas, and ultimately, what I want to create is a uh, this kind of collapsing composition that, but while it's right now it's unshaded, so it's a little hard to create that. There's all this white space, but ultimately something that feels like it's constricting on Link, and it will, and this sort of perspective where we have the like low angle with the monsters tilting down on us, and the architecture itself, sort of finding ways of making that sort of come up. Yeah, it's not too crazy. But I'm also like, well, what should go, And I don't know, and I don't remember. Like some of this stuff it's a little mixed, and then once you introduce real architecture, it has to be a little self-consistent as well. So that's tricky. I've got this almost. Can we get away with overdoing it with these triangles? Alternating inverted delta shapes. Can that make a structure that feels like a roof, or reads as a roof? It's a background after all, and I'll add a bunch of smoke and shit. There's the take on the Moblin. Yeah, that's a Moblin. Right, because the original Moblin was like super pathetic looking, right? So I'm like, okay, well, they can. Like, what's the. What would a Peter Jackson Moblin look like, I appreciated you crashing my stream yesterday. That's very generous of you. I'm not in the habit of actually like knowing how to like raid other people. So it's like I'm happy enough to receive that generosity. Where I can actually kick it down the road is hey KJ. People are coming in. Yeah, no, I'll get there. I'll get there. There's like a command. Katie Cat, I think, showed me one time, and that was nice. What a fun, wholesome community of support. Anyway, so what's fun is one other thing I did just now too is that there was all this like white space around here in these crevices of this giant mound of dirt. I was like, well, it can't just be white space. What could go there? So I'm like, fucking skeletons and shit, right? It's like old bones of old deceased would-be Hyrulean saviors that the Landmala feasts on for dinner. The, if I am honest to my original sketch, and I'll sort of zoom in on it here, you can see that I had this idea that, like, maybe where Link is here, he's in, like, this pit of death, and, like, up here, we've got these guards that are sort of, like, spectators, like, watching him, like, try to survive. It's, like, kind of, like, a fun idea. And I wasn't sure whether I still loved that, so I'm trying out this just sort of more classical dungeon idea, and I'm okay with it. Like, the Pit of Death stuff can live on in a different drawing. But this roof, see what's happening now, this is distracting. It's okay to have like having an architecturally scalloped, something that feels vaulted is appropriate enough. The structure of the Landmala with its segmented body can be replicated here with these segmented structural shapes of the top of the dungeon. And then here in the rib cages of these defeated heroes. We'll just make that a theme, right? This is a nice one. I'm treading on dangerous ground, but necessary ground, trying out new music. I have no idea whether or not it's, like, gonna get me in copyright trouble, but probably not. One thing I've done the past couple days is I've been uploading the archive to YouTube, just as a precautionary attempt at, it's not really precautionary. It's not like anything bad will happen, I suppose. It's just, it's a little bit more ready exposure. My peers are not as hip to Twitch as I wish they would be. Frankly, neither am I, but okay, this is a Zelda song, Song of Healing. But it's one of these Spotify suggests suggestions. We'll see how it goes. Now, if I was lazy, Let's just see if this would work. 'Cause I'm curious. Oop. I could flip this. Yeah, and I'm not too, like... I'm just putting forth, like, good faith efforts to use music that I think should be okay. Fairly logical. To have the architecture repeat on the other side. I'll draw it out more fully. And then when it's shaded, I'll use appropriate shading. It'll feel like it's drawn more or less fresh. I've noticed that, like, YouTube, I uploaded stuff and it was like, this is copywritten, but you're still okay because this person is not known to be litigious and they may be a partner someday or something. I'm like, holy moly. It's like copyright just doesn't mean anything. Like, I noticed days after streaming an old SNES game, the VODs for it were all flagged because the composer said it played his music illegally. I was like, dude, what? Video game? Yeah, so on Twitch, I got muted for audio portions containing Lon Lon Ranch from the original Ocarina of Time. I'm like, holy fuck, Lon Lon Ranch is like super protected, but all this other Zelda music is not. And I guess, you know, people have their sacred cows, I guess, huh? Yeah, and much was the case. Okay, so I'm not the only. I was like, what the fuck? All the original like chiptune Zelda music seems fair game from what I could tell. But it's had no problem with any of that Zelda and Chill playlist I was using. And so I've just defaulted to using that, but I don't want every damn time I stream to literally be the exact same experience with just different visuals. So we're gonna have to take some risks, and whatever. If audio is non-existent, it's not like I didn't have a decent reason to suspect it would be okay. I'm like, this whole project is sort of like goading Nintendo to come for me anyway. Worst case scenario, I'm completely ignored and my project is for naught. So this is kind of cool that we've got the basic makings of a completed image. Let's see here. Left, right. Cut out some of that. Let's do this. Bones. And nobody should be up past 3 a.m. So if that applies to you, whoever's listening, maybe get some sleep. But I do appreciate anybody hanging out. It's fun. I'm quite tired myself. What we're gonna do now... Yeah, I'm talking about you. Only to make it boring. But here's the last boring phase of these bits of art. Let me see what I can do here. Picking up those. good legs. Okay, those legs look good. 9mm body. You guys missed out on my, like, I had to draw this freaking insect from scratch, from my imagination, using logic and very difficult circumstances. And I think it looks good, but the reality is I will not look forward to ever having to do that again. Okay, there's Link. He's nice and substantial. Good. Ground looks good. Good, I'm gonna save it. And what I'm gonna start doing now is actually adding what is the word? You would call them almost selections, really, because a lot of what colorists do is they use the selection tool to separate out the parts that they're coloring as they go. And I understand why they do that, but it ends up having this very artificial quality that I don't like. So we're going to kind of pretend. Yeah, this is tricky. Let me see here. We actually have to separate. There's all this logic to the layering and coloring. Here where the legs are clearly in the foreground, we'll separate them. You know what? This one too. These will be foreground legs. The legs in the background, I'm going to merge with the land mallet itself. Okay. This is a boring kind of tedium, so no offense if anybody wants to hop, but it's a little meditative for me. We're just going to color in these legs. And then do the same to all the parts of the thing so that we have these discrete, separated structures of the image that I can light and adjust as needed, working towards the final image. And I'm doing this in stages. This is the first one to have a completed background, so I'm just sort of doing a little celebration by even doing this at all, because it is a little bit jumping the gun. I'm a little tired, and there's nothing wrong with capitalizing on some momentum. Other professionals will use the selection tool and trace the image like this. And boom, there you go. Except there's a lot of mess ups that happen when you do that. You see that Totally missed this spot. And if you're gonna have mess-ups, let them be mess-ups from your own hand, not mess-ups from not tweezing the pixels perfectly via whatever algorithm the computer uses. And this is the kind of artistic busy work that I love. Just coloring in the lines. My daughter's in first grade, and I was a little shocked to hear the extent of academia they're putting on first graders. I mean, at least in LA, she goes to public school just down the street, and they are learning how to tell time. Like as a first grader, you need to tell time. She's definitely learning more complicated spelling and just, you know, I'm proud and impressed of how she's keeping up with, to me, stuff, you know, and I went to private school at her age in the 80s. Had, you know, a great education, and were privileged to use Apple II computers and stuff like that to basically play hangman in class as a sort of educational game. She gets these, you know, they sent her home with her own personal Chromebook the other day. It's like a first grader. She can't wait to use it. And I'm like, holy moly, I have to learn how to use this before you can learn how to use it, kid. So half of her day in class is this sort of very structured, very academic toil. And then the other half is like coloring. Just basically coloring in. Her teacher has these rows of students. Yeah, who didn't love computers back when they were like not ubiquitous and stuff like that? Computers, it's interesting. It's my children know of computers as toys, more or less, like iPads, and, you know, they play games on my iPhone. Not really, but, you know, to some extent they know how to use them. But I was saying my, you know, when the learning is done, the teacher basically is like, okay, now we're gonna color all day. Not all day, but like, you know, let's spend some time coloring now. And they do this every day, where they'll just like fill in the lines. They'll do, you know, cut out projects or whatever that involve coloring. And it's just sort of this like quiet, and so what was happening was other parents were sort of being like, how come my kid is coloring all day? Shouldn't they be learning? You know, I know they're learning, but shouldn't they also be, instead of coloring, learning more? Like, couldn't they be learning more instead of coloring? 'Cause that's not how I learned growing up. But I recognized this teacher is particularly sad. I mean, you cannot deny the results. Like, the kids are learning. Like, my daughter, like, understands stuff that to me is very impressive, given her age. And my wife was like, is that weird that they're coloring? And I said, no, you learn during these, it's like, what, I don't know what the term would be, like, you've got this hyper excited, like stimulated phase, and then you've got this like down regulated phase where you need to subconsciously digest what you've taken in with a little bit of Zen, rake the garden, kind of cool down, excitatory, and then whatever. And then this, so for me right now, this is that kind of phase. Have a little bit of moment to subconsciously process. Whoops, I flattened that layer and I didn't mean to. There we go. There we go. I'll do the same here. These bones. And what we're doing is ultimately dividing the composition into discrete sections of positive and negative space. So I'm using this middle gray to help me see that separation, but that's not the color we'll use. I'm getting some lag. No drop frames. Let's proceed. Why lag? Why am I lagging? Oh, that's weird. Well, it might just go away in a second, so I'm not going to freak out. But definitely going to save my work. Ballad of the Windfish. This is a old school fave of mine, the Link's Awakening. This is like a shield. Half buried in the dirt, clutched by some long ago smitten foe. Yeah, I don't get why there's lag. That's okay though. Okay, it's definitely time to Color and link. What is this lag? Closed a few browser windows. Still having issues. Let's see here. Maybe I've tipped a threshold with the this giant file I've been using. I might have to break it up in a future segment so that it's not one large giant file controlling all of these different images. Oh, it's so slow right now. It's gonna crash. Save. Can I close out these guys? Will that make a fucking difference? Is Spotify the problem? Should I just close Chrome? Will that do anything? Maybe I'll restart the old Spotify. Kill the music for now. Try this. Oh, so slow. What is it? All right, yeah. Hot local grandpa. Go to bed. Dip off. Hey, thank you. It won't be long before this is done, or at least this image. We're getting close to the halfway point on the whole project, so it's pretty cool. Go to sleep. Rest your weary head. I may have to do the same. The lag is just insane. I'm gonna have to look at what is going on here. Recording is okay. That looks okay. That looks okay. What is happening? Ay, ay, ay. So fucking slow. Well, I can quit this out. Just for the sake of troubleshooting, although I don't want to do this on a stream, I can try. See if quitting out Painter and starting it again will have any effect. Seems faster. I can hear my Oh, that must have been it. My time machine was backing up. It may be done now. Okay. Let's proceed as if my shit is not fucking up. Short Hike, original soundtrack. This is not Zelda. Stop suggesting me shit. Just play. Just shuffle for real. Ah. Well, I'm glad the lag seems to have subsided. I do think it's pretty clear the time machine backup, while ill-timed, I'm not ready to damn it to Hades for trying to protect my data. But it is getting to be 1 a.m. and I'm going to finish this elbow and then call it a stream. So we did good. We drew some backgrounds, we drew some bones, we did a little fill-in with this stuff. Advance the ball just a little bit, as much as we can. And coloring is fun. Save some fun for later too, so that'll be good. Alright. If anybody's still listening, I'm going to call it a night. Love you all, and check in another time. Have a good night.